Doesn't get prettier than that.
I don't remember it.
And a one-hand effort by Harris, and Harris stabs it.
Welcome one, welcome all. We got another week 12 of the college football print factory up and running once again. And you would not believe it if I told you. Why did we run 20 minutes late? It was because it was Bruce's fault. That was the biggest upset of the entire year. 3 months of doing this show, people assume it's Tony this, Tony that. Tony might have showed up 10 minutes late, but
you don't have to report that. You don't have to say that part.
But I was in here at 2:58, sitting here just wondering, Bruce did give me a courtesy text, right? It was nice. It was
throwing me under twice, 2 times throwing me under.
Big T did not throw the courtesy text, but he was also second in here, So it was great stuff.
Bruce, first he's just upset that I don't like SpongeBob, and he comes in and just starts throwing me under the bus.
Man, it's been years since I've watched SpongeBob. That's man, that seems like 20 years ago.
Tried to be a nice guy. It's a great show. I mean, Bruce, it's 10 out of 10 still. And, the fact that Big T doesn't let his kids watch SpongeBob, is a shocker.
It's not that I don't let them. They just have better taste. They like to watch sports.
I mean, what better taste is there than SpongeBob SquarePants? I mean, the Jokic shoes got SpongeBob and Patrick, one on each foot. You're telling me that isn't the greatest invention of basketball shoes of all time? SpongeBob on the right foot.
They can play like Jokic. I'll go buy them SpongeBob.
You know what? I felt 10 feet tall when I put those shoes on yesterday. I got the fresh pair of Jokic's, straight from China too. The company that makes them is Chinese. The best part was better tracking information than anything I bought from Amazon. It literally told me everywhere. It just came from Shenzhen, and now it's in Beijing. Now it's in Sichuan. Hey, it somehow is in Chicago 12 hours later. And I got my shoes in 3 days. Did not think that was going to happen. But we got college football to talk about here. 12 games. And Bruce, you see who's on the slate here at quarterback? Oh, yeah. It's the one and only Brendan Sorsby that we're going to get to talk about a little later on. And I was shocked by Saber Sims projections that Jeff Sims is the top quarterback. And the worst part is it's against a terrible West Virginia team where, that game last week, Big T, you kind of called it a little bit. It really was a game that you wanted to take a fork to your eyeballs when you were watching it. Scotty Fox is a grinder, though. I'll give him credit. He did hit 50 rushing yards. It was some ugly football, but we got 12 games to talk about. But Bruce, how did you do last week, man? How are you doing?
Very good, very good. Yeah, just been a busy week. Jessica Alba was the name I was looking for earlier, guys. I know we were discussing beautiful ladies.
I'm so that was top five.
Yeah. So it was okay. It was an okay week. I needed a little bit more from Barcate. When you watch the Duke game, they kind of went like 2 tight ends a lot, and ran the football and kind of passed to the tight ends a little bit more than they usually do. So it was kind of annoying. And that game was really nice with Skylar Bell, and even got McAllister so close to just totally breaking the slate. So that was nice. But this week is solid as well. I mean, there's not like any games that really stand out, but we have some real good real life football games like Texas and Georgia and Oklahoma and Alabama. Those games are going to be really good. And then there's some solid games on the main slate too that'll be better football games than it will be for DFS, I think.
Yeah, 4 overrated SEC teams on the nightcap. That'll be good stuff to watch. And Bruce, if you're wondering, if people are wondering, why did Bruce bring up Jessica Alba? It's because I watched Mr. and Mrs. Smith last night. Did not know Angelina Jolie was like that. Just didn't know. And Big T and Bruce yelled at me and basically said, how'd you not know that? Big T, how'd you do last week?
Yeah, it was another good week. We've been on a good run the last couple of weeks. Definitely had a chance to get all the way to the top. It was a very good early session where a few of the guys, and the chat was just tilting their face off about these West Virginia guys that crushed, and the Colorado Omarion Miller or whatever his name is, he crushed too. So it was set up for everything. Just like always in college, though, you got to be totally perfect. And yeah, Pavia just went off. Some of those late guys just went off. College is just, it's the best. You got to have just the stone cold nuts to get all the way to the top, because a few weeks in a row, it's just been very good teams. Can't quite get there, but we got another week, and we're running out of weeks now in college, but we still got bowl games coming, everything coming. Thanksgiving week's always fun too, which is 2 weeks out now. Yeah, another week in the books.
Another week, and we got week 12, like you said, just a couple more weeks left of shows, really, and then we'll get into bowl season. We'll have a lot of stuff for that as well. As always, Bruce,
I'll be back in 1 second.
Every single slate you cover from top to bottom. You've been all over these midweek slates, cores, playbooks, and projections. It's been absolutely awesome. And if you guys are interested, don't forget about college basketball. Gavin and Steve Boynton are in the chat right now, cooking up some underdog winners. I did just place an underdog slip that Boynton posted. I tailed it on there, Bruce, and I can't wait to tail your underdog tomorrow for those who are interested in those little bit of pick'em style games. Bruce, starting off with you here, we're going to go with a Big Ten battle, and Northwestern. Nothing really projects great in this game outside of Jordan Marshall, who has taken the reins here with our guy, Justice Haynes, out. I was shocked to see that Justice Haynes is number 2 on Mel Kiper's positional rankings for running backs. I didn't know he was like that coming into this draft, but seems like Jordan Marshall is the only guy I really have any interest in. I mean, we have had interest in the past in McCauley, Klein, Marsh. I don't think I've clicked on Marsh's name this year yet. And then on the Northwestern side of the ball, you got Komalafe at the running back spot here at 5,400. Griffin Wild we played in the past, but just doesn't seem like it sets up for a very great DFS game. What do you think?
Yeah, and it's played at Northwestern's place too. It's tough to score points there. It's a game that both teams kind of want to keep it on the ground. We saw last week when Northwestern played USC. They kind of got destroyed on the ground, and I think it should be similar here. Jordan Marshall, he's very, very cheap for his role. 7,100 still. He's going to get most of the carries, and Northwestern's defensive line is just horrible. So I do like him to have a big game here. Komalafe, if Hyman is out again, he's a great play. Michigan's defense has been kind of overrated this year. And I thought he looked really good against USC last week. Other than that, you could make a case for Bryce Underwood, as a runner, but I don't really want any part of him. And you mentioned Marsh. Marsh, he's a big playmaker. It's looked good the last few weeks. 6, 4, and 5 targets the last 3 games. So you could click that. I probably won't. Upside's kind of limited there in this game. So, it's just mostly the running game for me.
Yeah, with Justin Haynes still sidelined, Jordan Marshall has been decent, 7,100. He's the only guy projected for double-digit ownership in this game, even looking at your sheet here too. It's not going to be one that pops off the page very much. You do have Jordan Marshall as, the second highest projected back on the entire slate. You had Jeremiah Love as number 1, which makes a lot of sense. So it does make sense that Marshall would come in pretty chalky for the most part here. When I kind of just continuing on looking at stuff, even this Northwestern back, you're right, with Komalafe, that's a decent projection. You got him at 14.9. Obviously, they can't see it on the Sabre side of things right now. We'll go ahead and upload those before the slate, obviously, but not, right now it's just not going to appear on the shared screen. But yeah, I memean, I can be talked into a running back stack, but I don't know if I'll have any Bryce Underwood or, Preston Stone. Yeah, good luck. No way in hell I'm playing him. That's just a lock at that point. And honestly, people love to hear Big T's takes. I guarantee you he's going to say Marshall's a good play. We'll come back to him, and Komalafe is a good play, but he's not going to have any interest, in a low total 40-point game where the better team's on the road. I imagine it's just Marshall and Komalafe from him, but we'll get his take here shortly. But for the sake of time, we'll move on to South Carolina and Texas A&M. Texas A&M, got the job done last week. Through 3 quarters, they didn't look too great against Missouri, but they did stuff the passing game, especially against Mizzou's backup quarterback. That guy was pretty buns. I don't even remember his name now, but yeah, it was just a good victory for them. Now they host one of the worst teams in the SEC, South Carolina. Concepcion has been an absolute stud. You got Craver, and then Marcel Reed, obviously, 8,400 is not a terrible tag. Some ownership coming in on that stack. I don't think South Carolina, I don't think there's a play on, fantasy wise for them, Bruce, but if you have anything different, let me know. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, I think it's the receivers from A&M or Ruben Owens. For me, those are the 3 guys I really like, and then of course Reed. If you play one of the one or both of the big A&M receivers, I think they're in play. They've been kind of sneaky good against the pass this year, but you love that volume between the two guys there. So. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's not a whole lot here in this game. I do think Texas A&M kind of rolls at home.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting too when you look at target shares. This slate doesn't have any dominant target shares for the most part. Concepcion and Craver both actually kind of grade out well. If you were just looking at that, Casey Concepcion though has been just an absolute animal for the most part here. Craver's numbers have dropped off a little bit since the early weeks, right? He's kind of trended down just slightly in terms of target share, but Concepcion has risen. Definitely feels like he's been the best option week in and week out for them. I like the Owens take. Big T, you're going to double dip here on the games. Michigan, Northwestern. I kind of thought you'd only be interested in the running backs, but I told people that we would get your take when you come back. And then A&M and South Carolina. If you made your escape at the right time, because there isn't a whole lot to talk about these first 2.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan Marshall from Michigan's got to be one of the best running backs. He's projected super high owned. Big projection, almost 25 projection at 7,100, but it's a tough matchup. I mean, minus 10, 42 total. Although I will say these are always the games I like to target Michigan running backs. Over the years, I've always liked to target them in low totals, as weird as that sounds. I just feel like they always get 2 touchdowns and like 150 here. Just always happens. So I think Jordan Marshall, definitely one of the better plays of the slate. I also like this Andrew Marsh guy who just looks solid to me. He just looks rock solid at 4,500. I kind of like Macaulay Culkin early in the year, but now I like Andrew Marsh more. Just a beast. Northwestern, I mean, I can't see myself taking anything from Northwestern in a 42 total. Some of these guys I like as a talent. I don't like the spot though. And then what'd you say? Texas A&M. So Texas A&M, you're always going to like Concepcion and Craver. Craver's going to be one of the chalkier receivers because he's 5,100. Texas A&M is just solid. Now they're back at home. I could see this game being a big time blowout. 17.5 spread, 49 total. I don't know, like the quarterback as we go through, quarterback's somewhat tough this week, which I think we were either on the show or before the show where you were talking about Sims being one of the better plays. It's a little hairy at quarterback on this slate. There's not anything that totally pops out. Marcel Reed is always in play just because you can double stack him. I kind of like Ruben Owens. I think that's what you were saying I would like. I do like Ruben Owens. Projected for 15 or 16, 5,500. And with the big spread, somewhat decent total, I have to have some interest in the ground game. And then South Carolina, a lot like Northwestern, you got like a 15 team total. I'm just not gonna like anything there.
Yeah, it makes sense there. Very clean. The Andrew Marsh one was a surprise for me. I didn't expect you to like.
He's not a guy either that's going to be like on my main team, but
yeah,
I'll leave him in the player pool for sure.
Well, those first 2 games out of the way. I mean, it's just Texas A&M in that one game, and then it's Jordan Marshall and Marsh, and then maybe a splash of Kamalafe if you want it. But now we'll get into the higher total games here. Oh, isn't it glorious? We can be done with the Sorsby Heisman talk, but you can't take Sorsby out of my life. Bruce, Cincinnati, and their really subpar defense. Utah absolutely exposed them. But the offense was there. I mean, Sorsby didn't look too good throwing the ball against Utah, man. That was rough, but it's a much better matchup here. Chris Hudson, 5,300 is always going to be in play. Problem with Sorsby, though, who do you stack him up with? You get Tawi Walker, potentially as a bell cow, right? If Evan Pryor misses. This game has a little bit of, tastiness to it with DFS wise. What do you think?
Yeah, it definitely could be one of those good games, especially at Cincy's place. Cincy has been really bad on defense. So, say Arizona jumps out on top here, could speed up the game a little bit more here and could see more throws from Sorsby. I kind of like it. It's always tough to play Arizona running backs. But Quincy Craig got most of the snaps last week, 45%. I think a lot of that was due to the fact that they were trailing. They were throwing him the football, which $4,100 running back's not bad. But you mentioned it, Tawi Walker at 5,300. If Pryor's out, it's going to get most of the carries, and he's a stud, and it's a good game for him to go off. They're off the bye week too, so there could be some well-rested guys there. Hudson, again, didn't go off last week, but he had 9 targets. Always in play there, and not crazy expensive again, so can go right back to him. Javen Watley as well at 4,700. And then, all the Cincy wide receivers are cheap. You got Royer at 33, Goody at 34, Caldwell at 32. Cyrus Allen's the only guy that's pricey at 56. So I do like Sorsby here and his upside with his running. Dude has 8 rushing touchdowns this year, so I think he's a solid quarterback play this week as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I really was trying to check before you got done speaking, but I'm pretty sure Spivey had another great first drive. It was like 3 for 47.
Yeah.
And then I go and look, it was 3 for 22. And then I go and look, and he ended with 3 for 22. He's the first drive hero, right? I was like, did they finally use him? He's still stone man at 3K, but you'll know where you stand after the first drive with him because for some reason it's always the first drive, and that is for Arizona. I don't get it at all. They put up 24 against Kansas last week. Fafita only threw for 158 yards. They did run for 165. This UC team can play at a high pace. It's funny, Bruce. Every single time that UC plays and they jump out to a big lead, Satterfield loves to sit on his hands and slow the game down and become the opposite of what makes this team fun. And they always lose that lead a little bit. It just feels like they're incapable of blowing another team out. Big T, this game, it's tough to stack for the most part. And I know you're not stacking Fafita. I can go ahead and get around that. There's no way you're clicking Fafita no matter what. He could be going against FCS Midwest, and I think you'd still find a way to avoid playing him.
Yeah, I don't disagree with Bruce very often, but I got to take my W from last week. Fafita, whatever the hell, Fafita, 17 points, and Rubio's play of the day. Hudson, I think it was his play of the day.
Oh, that was mine.
A double victory lap.
Oh, man. He wanted to get one on me.
Only because I think I did want to get one on you, honestly. I thought it was you. It doesn't make it. But I was going to use the same thing, 48 targets, but Fafita can't throw it. I watched the whole game because it was the late game, and I was sweating it, honestly. I had good teams, and I was fading the Arizona. I just didn't want them to do. He's just so bad, and this is actually a tough spot, I think, at Cincy. I think Cincinnati kind of brings belt to ass here a little bit on Arizona. Arizona pootered last week. I think it's only -6. I think Cincinnati kills Arizona. The hard part is you just have no idea who to play from Cincinnati. I look up and down the list. There's just so many guys. I have no idea who I like. I honestly would probably just either let Sabersim pick for me with some of these cheap guys, Caleb Goody, Jeff Caldwell, even Noah Jennings, all these just super. You could almost double stack and just hope somehow you strike lightning in a bottle and they crush, because I like Sorsby, but I just don't know who to put him with. Arizona, you can all jokes aside, you can always play Hudson. He gets a bunch of targets. He could get there easy. I don't like this game, though. For a 57 total, I really don't see myself playing all that much in it.
Yeah, I just kind of come back to this where it's like I don't really know exactly if you have to stack Sorsby, right? You can completely run him naked because he could target 7 different guys on one drive, right? That's like the issue that I just run
It's
into.
just annoying because they're so cheap.
Yeah, I mean they are. That's the thing though, is if you got 12 from 2 guys, that probably cripples your chances of winning anything, right? Like,
Unless it's like a slate where you spend up for studs and the studs go for 40 plus, and you just got that roster construction where you get like 14 from your 2 cheapies.
My favorite part is always looking at target share with Bruce's sheet. No Cincy guys rank in the top 45.
Oh,
That is just incredible to think about. And then on the Arizona side, what is it? I think it's Chris Hudson ranks in the top 11 for those wondering. So yeah, I can definitely be down for some Hudson, Sorsby, Walker. Honestly, I've clicked enough Cincy wide receivers, tight ends. I'm out on that boat, man. I'm just, unless like Saber gives it to me where it's like Royer and he gets 2 touchdowns.
They're gonna give it to you.
No, because I tell it's the only sport I turn this down on. The only sport I turn correlation down on.
Yeah, you'll get a ton. It's really bad.
It's the only, like, people ask, like, when we do shows or whatever, it's like, hey, like, what do you adjust? It's only one I do is college football, and I have not been great at college football. Like, the only time I ever adjust this bar is college.
I'll just say, like, all my best hits ever have just been full blown game stacks in college.
Well, it's easy when it's like Duke.
I'm just throwing it out there.
When it's like Duke and Clemson, yeah, right? Like, that was awesome.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, in the 1 week too. Stop barking. Our random. Now I got distracted because the freaking dog's barking.
That was the biggest upset of the year. A year ago, if you would have said that Big T would have a dog bark on the show,
I know. I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed in myself. But when our boy Cake Boss won that week, like, for example, you play Sorsby with 2 3K guys. Obviously, you don't love it. What happens when they get 20 each, though, and he gets 40? Like, you're just, I mean, you score infinite. And that's what, in tournaments, that's what you try to do. Like, how could you, of all people, not want to just jam in 2 of those 3K receivers?
Because I've watched enough Sorsby to know that Satterfield, if they throw the ball more than 20 times up 20, he's gonna like explode. He'd rather.
What if they're not up 20? What if they're losing?
And Sorsby will run for 150.
Goody's out, or Goody's questionable too. So
that could sell me a little bit if Goody missed. And I know
that's going to get you over the top to put the other 2 when he misses.
One less body, Big B. One less body. You know how much?
Again, there is some interest in playing 2 receivers for 6,200 total with a guy that can run if he just gets there. You're not spending any salary.
You know what? If Goody misses, I'll jam in some Jeff Caldwell. Yeah,
I'm going to beat you with your own team. That's what I'm going to do this week. I don't even like this game, and I want to beat you with it just because you're being so stubborn.
UK is not on the slate, but can we talk about that belt ass they took to Florida? Oh my God. We're talking about the SEC. Yeah. Florida losing by 31 to Kentucky. Oh,
Kentucky is in the SEC. What are you talking about?
Kentucky's had 1 win in the SEC.
Yeah, but they've been competitive.
They're tough at home. Like, they play everybody close there.
In Rubio every week acts like at home. Like, he just the same thing every week.
Oh God!
They're playing Georgia tough. They backdoored your ass the other week.
That's the game I was thinking of. They played Georgia really close too.
Yeah, was that last year, right?
This year,
they played Georgia tough this year.
I think so.
Yeah,
it was 35-14. They pulled away late.
Yeah, that makes sense. I remember last year being in Nashville for that one.
Oh, that was late. That was last year.
Yeah, last year I thought it was tight.
This year was at home.
Yeah,
last year was at Kentucky. It was really close.
Your freaking Indiana team got so lucky last week too. Like, God, how did they almost blew that game?
Well, when you play a gauntlet preseason number 2 team like Penn State, you're going to run into some issues on the road. It's like their game of the year. Whenever they play Indiana, it's their game of the year. Notre Dame taking on Pitt. Pitt's coach is already on record saying this game doesn't mean anything to them and stuff. I saw a JVC tweet that basically said the ACC could be a 0-bid conference, which is insane to think about, but it actually could happen. Love got there late last game, didn't really do a whole lot, but we have seen this Notre Dame defense turn around, right? Like, they were really shaky to start the year, but Heinshell has been kind of really solid for Pitt here. I don't really have a real read on this game. I think ND takes care of business, but Bruce, kind of curious to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, my initial read was that Pittsburgh really hasn't played anybody. They played West Virginia, they played Syracuse, they played Stanford. A bunch of teams that are terrible on offense when you look at it. They played NC State. NC State put up 34. Florida State put up 31. So good offensive teams are scoring against them. If you look at it, just glance at it, you would think their defense has been really solid. But I think Notre Dame could put up some points here, especially through the air. Carr's been really good this season, and these receivers are kind of playing really well. Faison, we know, Malachi Fields and Pauling have looked really good. I think, especially Pauling, man, he's scoring touchdowns. He has 5 this year. Fields, looks really good, making big plays. So I like those two guys. Our boy Desmond Reed is cheap, and Notre Dame's been good on defense. They're getting better every week, I think. But 5,800 for Desmond Reed, playmaker there. If he's healthy and playing, he's supposedly good to go here. I think he can have a big game for them. So I don't mind him. Love, of course, always in play. He's 10,000. So that's a little crazy, even crazier on FanDuel where he's almost 13K. He can score 50 for sure. If Reed doesn't go, Jakarian Turner is 4,800, and he's not bad either. I thought he's looked really good this year in the game I watched against Florida State. So, and then you have the two main Pitt receivers, Kenny Johnson and Poppy Williams. They're both under 5K. Both great plays there.
Yeah, it's like the only Pitt game that I watched was the West Virginia game when Holstein was still the quarterback and they just looked horrendous, and Heinshell has actually been halfway decent for them. And yeah, it's just like tough to get that out of your mind. Like, how does ND not just kill them? And you make good points too, talking about how this Pitt defense has struggled against actual good offenses. Big T, you said quarterback was tough earlier on, and 7,200 for CJ Carr. When you've had interest in his wide receivers in the past, you're a big Will Pauling guy. Like, there's a guy who's played Will Pauling more than you in college football. I'd love to meet them and shake their hand, because I feel like
why you stopped saying Notre Dame and you switched to ND.
Because I'm a man of self-awareness, and I realized I just tried to change it on the fly.
But the people enjoy it, so you got to give the people what they want.
I was just trying to adjust on the fly there, Big T.
They want the Notre Dame pronunciation there.
The worst part was some college football player or NFL players said it in his pregame thing, and I was like, "How did he say that?" I was like trying to take notes, like Notre Dame. I'm still gonna fuck it up. Like, we know that.
I do agree, though. I kind of think this is a game stack. Notre Dame, I've watched a lot of them. I feel like their defense is slightly overrated. I kind of think this is a shootout spot with prices that can get there. And the thing I love is CJ Carr, like you guys said, is so cheap. One projection that I just don't get is Faison. Every single week, he's always chalky. He's always over projected. I mean, he'll be projected 15 or 16, and he gets 12 fantasy points every week. He's had over 16 twice, and his projection's always 16. I just don't get it. I would much rather play Pauling or Fields. I think it's Fields, though. Although I will say I kind of always just play Fields because he's lower owned and it just makes sense to me. But I like Pauling too. But two of those three, if this game does shoot out, I mean, like you said, Jeremiah Love's so expensive. I love pivoting to the pass game. And you could even really get cute and play Jadarian Price at 6,100 and get a discount off Love too. I love the Notre Dame side, though. Even the tight end, Raridon, 3,800. I just think I love it. I love the Notre Dame side. And the Pittsburgh side, the guys they have, I like. I like the quarterback. I like Desmond Reed. I like Kenny Johnson, and I like Poppy Williams. So what's the things I always look for when it comes to game stacks? I like to have a lot of options I can throw in the bowl. This game has all the pieces that I like. So this is my sneaky game stack of the week.
I like it. I do like it. It's got a lot to like. And Bruce, you mentioned Desmond Reed. If I click his name tomorrow, I'll apologize on the behalf of everyone because he'll get hurt. It's just, I swear it's 2 for 2 this year. I don't even know.
Bringing a lot of negativity to Notre Dame game here.
No, I'm with you on the ND game. I actually really like that, but I just know if I click this guy's name, I'm going to be pissed off.
Why are you going to be pissed? You win every single day in fantasy. What could possibly make you pissed?
An injury to a guy in the first quarter.
Oh, don't say it.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's happened already, and I just know it's going to happen again. It's happened twice already. I know that. Arkansas, LSU, Arkansas's defense is terrible. Garrett Nussmeier is probably in that same boat. Bruce, gotten fortunate enough to watch a few LSU games over the last few weeks, and I have to say that Trey Green might be my favorite tight end in college football right now. That dude is a stud, and Nussmeier looks for him a ton. I got to say, I think this projection is so low for him because I caught him on FanDuel a couple weeks ago, and he scored. It was like the night game. And then they didn't really go back to him at all. I was like really excited because I actually had like a decent team and stuff. And then I think I was like, he only had like 1 or 2 catches, but it does feel like if LSU is going to be able to sling it, he's the number 1 option by far. Like he's going to be the guy that Nussmeier looks to the most. And honestly,
you know how bad Nussmeier is.
He's terrible. I'm very well aware of that. But this guy, Trey Green, like he looks every bit of like the best player on the field when he's out there. It's not often the eye test for me happens in college football, right? Usually, and Bruce has already said that this guy's really good tight end and stuff. I open my eyes, I'm like, this dude is like looks the part. Bruce, talk to me about some Arkansas LSU.
Yeah, and both teams without coaches, so
Yeah.
it's a nice little matchup. It's at LSU's place as well. Arkansas with no defense at all, so LSU can score how they want, and they love to pass the football. It'll be interesting to see what they do with the new coach here. So last week Van Buren came in as well, so kind of something to watch out for. If Van Buren maybe starts or they just split snaps, be tough to play anybody there at quarterback for LSU. Taylor Green's always in play with his legs, and they had a week off too, so maybe he's well rested. I know he's had a little bit of a leg issue. The 2 LSU backs, Barry and Durham, are always in play, especially against this Arkansas defense that's given up nearly 32 DraftKings points per game to running backs. So it's a great spot for the running game for LSU for sure, especially if they kind of commit to it a little bit more than they have. You're right. Trey Green is solid. I probably have him projected a little too low, but he's such a big dude. It's he looks like a basketball player out there. He's just athletically gifted and catches everything. So I love to watch him. He's 5,500 though, which is a little tough for a tight end for sure. But Raylan Sharp, Omega Blake are the 2 interests I have in Arkansas. Both are playing really well, over 20% target share. Blake especially is always a mismatch on defense. So yeah, it could be an interesting game, especially if Arkansas can score and kind of keep pace. It could shoot out just a little bit. Just tough with the LSU quarterback situation unless we get some kind of word pregame.
Was there any reason why Harlan Berry got 12 carries to Durham's 3? I know Durham's been slightly nicked up, and there was one play a few weeks ago. I forget who it was. I want to say it was the A&M game where Durham broke free on a wide open run and got tracked down, and it saved them 4 points or whatever. It might have saved him 7.
Harlan Berry is so much better than
That's what I'm thinking. Is Durham
like so much better.
Cheeks? Is he just that cheeks, Bruce? Are they just going to Harlan Berry full time?
Harlan Berry was like, Bruce knows better than me, but wasn't he like highly touted? I remember you talking about him at one point.
Yeah, he's
like the number 1 running back in the country or something.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think he was close to top in the nation. Yeah, he's number 1 running back in Louisiana, number 1 33 nationally. So yeah, he's a stud. He actually started last week, and Durham actually outsnapped him.
Really?
So, but yeah, they're both in play. I mean, they're both cheap, but I think Barry's played a whole lot better than Durham has this season. And I think it's probably because of injury, but it's such a big mismatch on the lines. This is the biggest mismatch of the week for sure. So
in LSU's favor.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I guess it's Arkansas's defense. I should have known. I didn't realize that Trey had 0 catches last week. Holy shit, that's terrible. How do you not give that guy a catch? Big T, what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I like this game. My issue is the quarterback situation. I don't know what to do with it. Where I love these weapons, though. Trey Daz, like you said, I know he didn't have the best. He's kind of been up and down, but his upside is just so big. He's just a beast. So, and those are the plays I like because he's not going to get ownership. His projection isn't great. I love that call. My only issue is just quarterback, though. Like, I don't know who's going to throw it. Xavier Thomas, too, I just love at 4,100. He's one of my favorite plays of the whole slate at that price. Like 4,100 is just a crazy price point for that kind of talent. And then Harlem Berry. I mean, I'm a little disappointed to hear the snap share just because I watched the game. He just looks way better. I'm just going straight eyeball test with it. It looks like Harlem Berry. I'm glad that Rubio brought that up because I was going to talk about Durham just being dusty. And I love this side. Trey Daz Green, Harlem Berry, Xavier Thomas. I love them. I can't play a quarterback with it, and it hurts me, though. How I naturally build football teams is it's really hard for me to like a game if I don't like the quarterback, but I do here. So I guess it'll just be maybe I play it with like a Sorsby at quarterback or something as a runner or something and kind of mix and match like that. It's not how I naturally build teams, but it can work in this spot because I love LSU here as far as their offense. They're going to score a ton of points in this game, a ton. And then Arkansas, Mike Washington, I love him. I love him against this LSU defense. Taylor Green's 9K. Mike Washington's let us down a lot this year. I just think this is the spot, though. This is the spot for me. I think he crushes. I love the price point. I love LSU not being able to really stop guys like Washington. Raylan Sharp, too, I think he can throw in there. Taylor Green obviously has upside. I like this game a lot. I think we see a large number of points and a few of my favorite plays of the slate. Mike Washington, Xavier Thomas. I love both of those guys. And Harlem Berry. I feel Harlem Berry, I worry a little more just because the snap share, like you said, Caden Durham. I just think one of these weeks he's going to nuke, though, at no ownership.
I like it. I'm going to be probably playing some Harlem Berry with you, too. Just looking at the carry discrepancy, right? Like 12-3 last week, and the eye test tells you that Durham is just he gets caught up, too, and he has a 10-yard head start on people. That pissed me off because I had him for next touchdown, and because I love doing those live bets on everything. That's really kind of what turned me off on Durham was when he was got caught up, too, and then Harlem Berry outperforming him last week. Yeah, I'm going to be with you guys there. West Virginia, Arizona State, Scotty Fox Jr. It was a pleasure watching him last week, Bruce. And did I have that game on? You betcha. HBO Max. It was a thriller from start to finish. I tried to ladder Scotty Fox Jr.'s yards. He only ended up at 58, but I had 40, 50, 60, 70. I was like really excited there after he broke off a couple long runs. Dior Hubbard, he looked good in the passing game. He had that one big play where, again, he got caught up too from behind when he had a walk-in touchdown where he ended up crushing regardless. But it was one of those things like, how do these guys get caught up from behind like that when you have a wide open field? But as far as Arizona State goes, this projection on Jeff Sims, man, just felt like 3 weeks ago we were just trashing the man's name, but now he gets one of the easiest matchups in the entire FBS. It sucks to say, but I just know I'm going to be clicking his name a lot tomorrow. Bruce, talk to me.
Yeah, he's pretty close to a lock for me, and unfortunately, I hate to say it, but yeah, if he even runs it remotely close to 15 times that he's projected, he's gonna absolutely smash. This is a very bad West Virginia team, and now they have to go on the road here and play a solid offensive team, and Sims looked good that first game, that last game starting. So I just think he has a huge game here. It's 7,400 is crazy low for him. I think he's kind of in I'm going to lock him in and move on kind of spot. Outside of him, I think Raleigh Brown isn't bad at 7,600. But I don't know if I want to play both of them in one lineup. Just because it kind of limits your upside there, especially with the prices. You're getting a lot of salary there. Shimon Mateer is one guy that I have interest in, especially with Sims in there. 7 targets the last 3 weeks for the tight end. He's 5,200. So he's a little pricey, but that's good volume for a receiver for sure. Jalen Moss also 7 targets last week with Sims in there, and he's only 3,100. So that's a little interesting for sure with Tyson out getting some of that volume there in the passing game. Other than that, I don't really have too much interest in Scotty Fox. He's just, man, he's hard to watch. Like last week against Colorado, some of his runs, he's just so awkward. I don't know. Maybe next year he'll figure things out a little bit more. But yeah, you got to have a little bit of interest at 6,500 for a guy that's going to run it 7 to 10 times. But yeah, I don't have a ton.
So, Bruce, I was shocked when I just looked at Jeff Sims over under rushing yards is only 70. It feels extremely low. Like it just does. For those who don't know, 2 weeks ago against Iowa State, Big T, Jeff Sims went 29 carries for 228 yards. What's to say he doesn't carry the ball 20 times again? Like Bruce said 15. I mean, God, it feels like 20 to 25. Why would you throw the ball with him? Right? Like, why would you? They threw the ball 24 times against Iowa State. He threw for 177. I mean, the fact that offense only put up 24 points with those stats is astounding to me. His longest run, he did have an 88-yard run. Probably got sacked a couple times too. But, man, it's crazy. It's 2025, and we're sitting here thinking about locking Jeff Sims at 7,400.
It's really hard not to like him, and these are always the spots where he'll let us down too. Just it's so obvious, and we just know he can't throw. Like what was Colorado's dude last week? Because he was a similar, like he's better than Jeff Sims probably, but
he actually looked good. I actually kind of like.
He's like a true freshman, and he's like talented.
I like it.
What was his finishing stat line, though, is kind of my question. Just as a baseline, like that was another thing our chat was just tilting, like, oh, this guy's, I mean, they were just tilting this game so hard, which tilted me. But that guy ended up getting there because he was solid, and he probably outscored the West Virginia guy without checking. I have to imagine he did. But to your guys' overall point, I mean, Jeff Sims, it's really hard not to play him against West Virginia. They looked so bad. 7,400. The nice thing is you don't pair him with anyone. I guess you could. You could play. I just realized Jalen Moss is 3,100. I mean, that's a really good price point for somebody. But man, Jeff Sims cannot throw the ball, so you're going to have to really feel good about something to play any receiver. Even though 3,100, that is a nice price point though for a guy that's somewhat talented, Jalen Moss. So love Sims. And then the West Virginia side, you have to like Hubbard again. I know he just got so much work, 5,600. We thought he was dead for a minute. Everyone was tilting. He came back like a champion. I don't know. You have to like him. 5,600. I don't know how you wouldn't like him with as much volume as he's going to get against Arizona State. So that's where I'm at in this game. Just those two.
Yep, 1,000%. Yeah, AJ asked, why is Raleek Brown so highly projected? I mean, the big thing is volume and West Virginia's defense, right? That's
he has been overprojected all year, though. I am kind of on AJ's side with that one. The matchup's unbelievable, though, this week.
Yeah, it was funny. I put it in the chat Desmond Bane's projection the other day, and someone said, Big T just said on the show that Desmond Bane one for NBA is like one of the every single week.
And again, like, I'm not saying you got a game log watch everything, but I'm just saying, I say it all the time in NBA. Like, if a guy's projected for 34 and it's the same situation and he hasn't got over 30 in 3 weeks, I don't understand it. Like, everybody knows I'm not smart enough to make these projections. I don't know how. I'm not as smart as Bruce. Bruce knows how to do them. Every once in a while, I could just point one out, though. Like, why in the world is that the project? I think he hit a game winner that night, too.
He crushed that night. He crushed that night. He did.
Yeah. So everything I said was incorrect anyways. But the point is, I didn't agree with the projection.
Yeah. Yeah. And if a team is allowing, nearly 23 DraftKings points per game to running backs, he's probably going to end somewhere in that range.
Yep.
And he's going to get most of the carries. So that's kind of where he'll end up projection wise.
That's kind of exactly where you got the Arizona State running backs kind of combining for, right? It's the math is mathing, as some would say. Penn State, Michigan State, Big Ten gauntlet game here. I mean, Penn State taking number 2 Miami to the brink. Not many conferences can say that. Katron Allen, clear number 1 in that backfield a few weeks ago, but it did kind of flip just a bit, right? I think Penn State schedule-wise, I thought the big thing last week was Indiana felt like they were up to the occasion with Kurt Cincinnati, and then all of a sudden, Penn State comes from behind and almost takes that game from them when they were down 17-7.5. Katron Allen got 19 carries to Singleton's 10. But in recent weeks, it was Katron Allen who was kind of getting the bulk of the carries. As far as the other guys in this game goes, you got another Marsh that Big T can be interested in. You got Omari Kelly, Mekhi Frazier, Aiden Childs. Doesn't feel like it's a great game on paper, Bruce, but the Penn State backfield, maybe a little bit of Marsh could be interesting.
Yeah, this Michigan State defense has been pretty bad, especially against running backs. I think we had UCLA, Michigan State on another slate, and Jalen Berger, I think, scored like 40. Felt like every time I looked up, because I had Nico, and every time I looked up, Jalen Berger was scoring a touchdown. So these Penn State running backs have to be in play, I think, especially Singleton at 4,800. They're split snaps last week. Michigan State's given up 33 DraftKings points per game, 2 running backs. So I just know if I play Singleton that Katron Allen's just going to absolutely smash. That's just the way it goes. But both running backs, 44% usage for Allen and 30% usage for Singleton. Getting so much usage there out of the 2 backs because that's all they can do with this Grunkmeyer in at quarterback. So Michigan State's just a mess. Quarterback, they don't know who they're gonna start between Childs and Milivojevic, I guess it is. So yeah, it's tough for them. Marsh and Kelly are big play guys. Kelly's only 3,300, and he got 10 targets in their last game. He just gets a lot of work, so I don't think he's a bad play at all. He's probably one of the better value plays on the slate. Tough to play Penn State receivers, but Pena's always solid, so I don't mind him at all.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of wide receivers who are popping at a low salary for the most part. It does feel like getting Jeremiah Love, if you wanted it, right, is a little bit more feasible than I originally thought. Big T, what do you think about this game?
Oh, man, talk about a spot where if I just had one running back, I would be the most confident of anything in the entire world of them crushing. I am so confident that either Katron Allen or Nick Singleton crushes. So confident. It's just a matter of which one, and I just have the worst feeling I'm going to guess wrong. I'm usually on Singleton. Last week, Singleton looked pretty good, but I think it's Allen this week. I think it's Katron Allen, 7,300. I don't see how he's not going to crush this defense. It just looks like all systems go for me here with him. I mean, just slam dunk city. I am a little nervous that it's Singleton. So, if I don't play Allen, I think it's even a rule-worthy spot where I want one of these guys on all my teams. I don't know if I want to play them both, though. I don't know if there's enough meat on the bone to get both of them in there. I could. I mean, they're both going to project good. Nick Singleton at only 4,800 is going to project better than Katron Allen, but Katron Allen just feels like a smash. Maybe I do just play them both, and I don't have to decide. But running back is loaded. I want at least one, though. Absolutely love this spot, though. And Michigan State, I'm not going to play anyone. I don't like any. I mean, I guess Omari Kelly's down to 3,300. Another receiver that's low 3Ks. I can't totally ignore him at that price point, but it's the Penn State running game for me here. So, slam dunk city.
All right, I'm going to give a little bit of conviction here. Player props: Katron Allen 95.5, Singleton 42.5 rushing yards.
Yeah.
I know that. Last three weeks, Penn State has played 19-10 rushing disparity in terms of carries. Katron Allen to Singleton 21-6, 28-6.
It was 28-6 last week.
3 weeks ago against Iowa.
What was last week?
19-10.
So still 19-10, and that was with Singleton playing good.
Playing really good. I've been on the train that I think I have overrated Singleton, and 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, I was like, I'm just done with him completely. It was like he failed us one time as a decent play, and then they finally went to Katron Allen more full time. That's my conviction. I am 100% on the Katron Allen's the RB1. Yeah, Singleton could crush, and same exact situation as last week, 10 carries, right? He did really well. What was that? 24 fantasy points. That's more than enough, 4,800. But Katron Allen, like the props are very much in line with him being RB1 and Singleton getting about a third of that work, right? Which again, best spot on the slate maybe for running backs though. So that's my one thing. I'm gonna be playing a lot of Allen tomorrow, just because I'm not missing out on him getting 20 carries and being like, damn, how did we not see this coming when it's happened the last 3 weeks, right? So like you said, Bruce, Singleton 3 touchdowns tomorrow. I'm gonna mentally prepare for that one. Virginia, Duke. And talk about the team that, if you would have said this before the season started, like Duke's going to win you a lot of money week in and week out. And then you get another slate like this, Bruce, where they got an insanely good team total. If you were to look at the last 6 quarters of Duke games, Barcate has not been that great, right? Like it's been kind of weird. They kind of like went away from him after that first half against Clemson. It was a lot of queso. You even had Higgins get that kickoff return touchdown too, which, but still 7,100, great target rate. You already know my thoughts on Jamari Taylor. I'm not going to waste my breath on him again, but it's a really good game overall. Bruce, who are you stacking?
Yeah, this Duke offense, man, it's maddening. Like last week, they played Landon King and Jeremiah Hasley, the 2 tight ends, almost the whole game against UConn, and just kind of played like an NFL offense, which was really annoying. Especially when you had Barcade and Queso and those guys, especially if you played Higgins. Higgins, hardly got anything. Queso only played 42% of the snaps, so it's that's really annoying when they do stuff like that. But yeah, there's some good pieces in this game. It seems like Chandler Morris is going to play. He left last week with a concussion, and they just looked horrible once he went out of the game. Duke's given up 27 points per game to quarterbacks this year. So I do like Chandler Morris if he's in. Hopefully he can survive the whole game. And if he does, I can see him putting up a big score here. Jamari Taylor's always in play. The only problem is that their offensive line is not the best. And, I could see him failing here, but he's going to get all the ball.
Rubio with him. Just slam him up Rubio's ass.
Oh, stop it. He got lucky against Cal.
Yeah, that was such a great matchup. And this one kind of is a solid matchup too. So 7,700. Nate Shepard at 8K also. I just can't play a guy that's getting 11 carries per game. It's rough. Paying 8K for that kind of volume is always tough. But he kind of paid it off against UConn. I forgot what he scored, but he definitely scored a few times.
Yep.
So,
he crushed.
Yeah. He's tough to get right for sure. Terrell Harris at 4,200 is probably one of my favorite receiver plays this week. He's in a good spot. Queso as well, 4,900. Barcate 71. It's a good spot for offense. I think these ACC defenses are really soft.
I think it's the ACC offenses are really good. I think that's the way to look at it. It is funny, watching these two teams over the last couple of weeks, and the shocking result of the week last week, Bruce, was Cal going into Louisville and beating them. I was shocked by that. But Virginia, handled business against them for the most part. Jamari Taylor did look good. He even got banged up in that game and came back and finished out strong. Big T, we've talked a lot about Duke over the last couple weeks, but like Bruce said, it's like their identity changed last week compared to the Clemson game. Queso only getting 42% of the snaps. That's crazy at 4,900, but a little bit to like here. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I like this game. Duke games are just fun. And last week was, again, that was a late game too. So I watched most of it where it was the end of the slate and it was a good game, honestly. Versus UConn, it was a fun game to watch, even though both teams aren't incredible or anything. You just have good prices. I can't play Nate Shepard at 8K. There's too many good running back plays on this slate. And I felt like he looked awesome last week and still didn't necessarily crush, which is never a good sign to me when a guy looks really good and still doesn't like get there. That always worries me. But love the passing game again. Mensah, Burkett. I just Queso Brown 4,900 price is getting higher. You can still play a guy like Hagens or these other guys, but just love the spot for Duke. And then Virginia, we just watched UConn gash this team. So you have to like Chandler Morris, Trell Harris. I love Trell Harris with Bruce. I mean, 4,200. We got so many good cheap receivers on this slate that it's going to be interesting builds, what people come up with. I watched the UConn guy gash Duke. So Jamari Taylor, ignore Rubio. Jamari Taylor has to be a pretty good play here. And it's even more opportunity just to drop him up on Rubio's head.
I will say the 7 catches last week against Wake Forest, that is something that can pull me back.
In the 20 carries that he gets every week, doesn't either?
Nah, not when you only get 3 yards a carry. No, it doesn't. But I kind of completely blacked out and didn't realize that Virginia scored 9 points last week and lost to Wake Forest. I don't remember that game even being played. Like I looked at the schedule. I'm like, what the hell happened there? Just to note, Louisville lost to Virginia and Cal. Like they're just terrible, man.
I can bad squad.
Oh, I'm just shocked by that. I'm like literally looking at these like rankings. Maybe the SEC isn't that bad.
Maybe by the end of the year, you're going to come full circle and be like, man, the SEC's good.
These guys, the SEC suck, man. I got nothing else to add. I mean, Trell Harris, he was a popular cash option last week too. 4,200 probably will make a few cash, but like you said, cheap receivers are going to be the move this week. You can spend up at running back. We have Jeremiah Love. You got Jordan Marshall. Someone mentioned it here. Yeah, it was AJ just a second ago. Mama Rocks talking about how many good running backs there are. It's going to be easy to play the best running backs for the most part. You don't have to get cute there, and you can get a little bit cute at wide receiver because, all these guys project good. But, if you find someone who does great, gets 30 DK, you'd be well ahead of the field. NC State taking on Miami. We had the CJ Daniels missing out last time, right? That was the big thing. And Malachi Toney, Carson Beck is terrible. I'm sorry. I was so pissed off watching that game because Tony's wide open and he's opted to go to the tight end. Tony's biggest play came on a pass that wasn't even intended for him and got flicked onto him. It was mad.
Got flicked onto him.
Yeah, it was like bad at the line and like completely changed direction.
That's soccer Rubio right there.
got flicked onto him.
I mean, it was just insane to watch because I bet Tony's probably. I was like, man, it's gonna be sharp. No Daniels. Like Tony's got to be peppered. Carson Beck did his best to not do that.
Carson Beck sucks.
Yes, correct.
The thing about playing college every night for the last 7, you just see guys when they suck. Like they can't hide it. Yeah, they can be decent for a week here and there, but overall, you can't hide it.
That's not the guy I watched against Notre Dame, bro. Against ND. I'm just telling you that.
Against ND.
That dude looked good that day, and then all of a sudden you just see the fall off. He had like a hot spell. He was proving Cavenders wrong, and
you can't stop saying Notre Dame. Like that's part of the show. We need pie charts and we need Notre Dame. Let's call Carson Beck pie chart for a minute. Let's see what he's got.
Wait, oh yeah, let's check it out. It's going to be a lot of low outcomes.
Whoa!
Percent needs checking up on. What is this 1% to your 50? That's not
getting a 50 piece. We need to recalibrate.
Who can get a 50 piece? CJ Bailey. That dude, I like that dude's game a lot. Bruce, talk to me about some NC State.
Yeah, it looks like the two big pieces of news in this one, were Hollywood Smothers and Justin Jolie. They're both questionable coming in. It looks like both of them are going to play. So that's good news for NC State for sure. It's just tough. This Miami defense is just really good. So it's hard for me to play those guys. But Smothers has been just really good. 15 rushes per game, 4 targets. If he's healthy, at 6,400, he's probably one of the better running back plays in that range. Even if it is Miami, he's just a big play guy. Looks like Fletcher's going to be out again for Miami, and the NC State rush defense has been pretty bad this year, giving up 29 points per game to running backs. So Marty Brown at 4,500, is going to get most of those snaps. Got 49% last week, and I think he looks really good. Too cheap at 4,500. Tony is always in play. Daniels is back, so not the best play, but Tony has so much upside every week. So I think he's in play. Even at 6,900, he's going to have a lot of ownership. Just tough to play Carson Beck. Doesn't run at all. He's going to have to air it out, and Miami doesn't like to air it out. So it's a pretty easy game to figure out. And it's not my favorite, but there's some individual pieces here.
My best night slate of the year came 2 weeks ago when you were hyping up the Hollywood Smothers news, and we got Jaden Scott, little ownership, honestly, relative, and he went nuclear, 24 for 196 and a touchdown. That game exploded. NC State beat Georgia Tech 48-36. There's some potential here, Big T, but then you see who the quarterback is for Miami. It's like the turnoff. But Marty Brown at 4,500, that's got to interest you a little bit.
Yeah, and you just look at it, and the price point, running back is loaded. Whoever was saying that in there, where you just get a lot of options at running back, and receiver doesn't feel that way this week. It's kind of usually I like receiver more, but this week I like running backs, just so many of them. So I have to like it. Malachi Tony, you have to like him. He's always a good play, 6,900. I do worry though about just how bad Carson Beck is. It's just he's just not any good, and it's so clear. NC State, I don't think I like anything from NC State. The price point does look better for Smothers. Miami's defense is good though, and running back's loaded. So if there's ever a week I'm not going to play a running back I don't feel good about, it's this week. And it's like also, I know we already talked about Notre Dame, but one thing to go against a guy like Love is how good running back is. So 10K is a lot to spend on a running back when you're going to have a lot of cheaper guys crush this week. So, yeah, I'm not super high on this game though, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of more of a case in point too to a guy like Taylon Green, who we talked about earlier with a good team total, right? Like where you might not have to stack them, but like for example, just kind of going through the slate, like Omega Blake is top 6 on the slate and target share at 6,300. You're going to have room to spend up for some combos that could be unique with really good upside. Usually there's about like 4 or 5 guys who have a target share north of 30% for their teams. And Bruce, you always send that sheet. It's awesome. Only one guy this week, and that's Satanga. So yeah, he's like literally the only guy above that.
Topanga?
Right? Satanga, right?
I thought we were talking about the ladies again. Topanga.
Topanga.
Oh yeah,
I don't even know Topanga either.
The Trippy
She's
Red
top
song.
tier.
Yeah, Trippy Red sings that, right? Take me back to Topanga. Trippy
I
Red.
don't know.
Just a couple boomers on this show, I see.
Trippy Red? You don't even know who the real Topanga is.
It's a song by Trippy Red.
Oh my God. You don't know who Topanga? This is the worst one yet on the show. How do you not know who Topanga is?
So we have different versions of
She was before Jessica Alba and all the other ones we were talking about. Topanga, come on.
I look up Topanga and I see Trippy Red.
Oh my
I'm sorry,
God,
guys.
no way.
Maybe Google is really dialed into my life.
There's literally no way if you do Topanga that she doesn't come up. There's no way.
I'm gonna type
everything that pops up for me is the Topanga I'm talking about. So
Topanga Lawrence.
Yeah, that's who we're talking about.
I'm
so that was
disappointed.
That was Jessica Alba before Jessica Alba.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean she'd be what we watched after school. I mean,
yes, and on Friday nights, TGIF.
Yeah.
So okay, I mean, like, all right. So when we were talking about like Angelina Jolie, this is what you guys had in mind. Okay.
Before that, this was when we were even younger.
And you guys are old.
When we were like your age, we liked Topanga.
27 years old. Like, no shot. No shot.
I just cannot believe some of the stuff you haven't seen. You've lived a different life than us.
The best part is because our phones listen to us all the time. I saw so many TikToks of Silicon Valley this week.
Oh yeah.
You need to start you need to go back and watch it.
I chuckled. I chuckled at some of the things. I'll say I did.
You will love that show. Just go watch it.
You got it. UCF, Texas Tech, Lil Dicky, and Jacoby Williams. That was you had a lineup up there really nicely in first place for a while, Big T, and you had the double stack of Williams and Lil Dicky. I kind of like that path, 5K and 8.1, but this week it's going to be really tough to stack running backs together. You kind of alluded to it with like Allen and Singleton if you'd want to do it. Then you're like, man, running back is so loaded that you almost need 25 from each guy if you're playing 3 running backs a day. The passing game is, decent. Caleb Douglas, I believe, had a touchdown last week as well. And then on the UCF side of the ball, it's a really, really low team total. Can't imagine much interest. But Bruce, talk to me about this game.
Yeah, UCF is so bad. I just think Texas Tech rolls here, and they can score points however they want. I think the UCF rush defense is the worst. So Jacoby Williams at 5K, another running back you can just jam in there. He's gonna be owned for sure at that price. Dickey is gonna be less owned, but definitely will have some ownership with his 11 rushing touchdowns this year. He's just been really good this season. Texas Tech should be able to roll here. Douglas and Virgil, both solid plays. Terrence Carter as well. That probably go overlooked a little bit with people just jamming the run game. But no UCF here. Texas Tech's defense has been just way too good this year.
I like it. I've been like kind of piecing together a parlay, every single game that, kind of go every conviction. I love the words worst rushing defense, right? I'm like, oh man, I got to put a Dickey in this parlay. Like it's up to 56-1 and it's only 4 props right now. I'm kind of itching at it. Big T, talk to me about some tech.
Dare I say, Bruce, for the first time ever, it could be a 4 running back week. Dare I say
no,
it?
no.
Dare I say it on the show?
God.
Running back is so bad quarterback is so bad this week, and running back is so good this week. Dare I say it? Dare I throw it out there that it's a 4 running back week? I think it might be for me. I don't like quarterback, and I love running back this week. So, these running backs are in a great spot again. You got Jacoby Williams at 5K is going to be probably the guy most people want to go to, but Cameron Dickey, you just have all the upside. Both of these guys could get there. It's just yet another 2 really, really good running back plays that, it is what it is. I don't know how you're going to pick who to play. It's tough out there. And UCF, we're not going to play anyone. Texas Tech's a legitimate top 5 team in the country. It is what it is. So running backs, it's the week of the running back.
Mangone at 4K might smash too. Might come in the fourth.
Yeah,
quarter.
Are we back to that time? Are we back to Mangone?
Yeah, might be Mangone time in the fourth quarter.
Oh,
I love when that picture of that dude comes in the Discord. That was one of the best pictures of the year.
I'm just shocked by what we heard. Big T. Maybe
usually when you go to these projections, it'll be the quarterbacks all up top. This week you got 3 of the top 4 are running backs, 5 of the top 7 are running backs. And then as far as the values, 4 of the top 6 are running backs. Just saying, I'm just throwing it out there. Is there any quarterbacks you have to play outside of Jeff Sims? I'm just saying, there's not many games left on the slate, and I haven't really liked any quarterbacks.
You know what? It's going to be interesting, and we'll have all the core plays and playbook and rankings up. I know that with your rankings and your core plays, you're going to tell us for sure. I know when that goes up at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, and you're going to have Superflex labeled out, and it's either going to have a running back or a quarterback in there. I'm going to be watching with all intensity. I'm going to be refreshing the page nonstop. I'm going to make our page views look really good because I'm refreshing the core play page so much. That'll be something to watch. Oklahoma, Bama,
and Rubio. If you do this, it can be a 5 RB week, baby. We can play 5 of them.
Part of that parlay was me hitting 125 yards for Jeff Sims at 4-1, which is just like I just feel like that's going to be a parlay staple tomorrow. That's going to be my favorite thing in the world is Jeff Sims props tomorrow. I'm going to be wasting so much money on him tomorrow.
Is this prop seriously 125 rushing?
No, it's 70, and you can get a 4-1 for 125.
Yeah, I like that. I'm with you.
Those alt lines. I'm trying to hit the alt lines with these. Katron Allen did an alt line. Trey Des Green alt line, Cameron Dickey alt line, and Sims alt line. You get 56-1. Nothing's impossible in that lineup either. It's kind of sexy. My favorite Alabama wide receiver, Jeremy Bernard, and his sidekick, Ryan Williams, are on this slate. And then you got the leader in target share, Mr. Topanga, at 6,600 here. This is a game that kind of lacks for me here, Bruce. But if I'm paying down at wide receiver and I probably have 5,800 left, I'd be hard-pressed not to click Jeremy Bernard's name. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, I think he's the premier play in this game. Both defenses have been really good. I'm not playing, you can play Satania against Bama, but their coverage has been so good this year. They're only allowing 25 DraftKings points per game to wide receivers. They should be trailing, but I think his upside's kind of limited here. This Bama pass defense is so good. Man, other than Bernard, I have a tough time clicking any of these other guys. I think Jam Miller is probably okay at home here, but even his snaps are kind of taken by Daniel Hill, who's playing really well too. So yeah, it's probably Bernard, and that's about it for me.
Yeah, I'm with you. No, Mr. Topanga. The target share is going to get me, Bruce. It's going to bite me in the ass. I just got to include that. Like, if I'm not playing the top target guy with your sheet, like, I always like bump him up a few points too. I know that you already incorporate in your projection and stuff, but like, I feel like I'm going to somehow have a little bit of him. I'm going to be so pissed off tomorrow if he's like my last guy in chasing down a lineup at top. Big T, this game, I can't imagine it does a lot for you, especially with an 8,700 Ty Simpson, but I see you having a little bit of interest in the wide receivers at least.
Yeah, it's just a tough spot. I mean, you look at it, Alabama's been good, even though Rubio hates the SEC. Alabama kind of rallied. They're ready to fire the coach too. He's kind of rallied too. Alabama's honestly what's going to happen when they win a title, Rubio, when they backdoor and somehow win this thing? You're going to have to eat some schlong after that. But I don't know. I don't like this game that much. Oklahoma, Mateer's expensive. The receivers, you know how many times Burks has screwed me this year? I'm so done with Burks. Topanga is too expensive now. I don't love this game. You can always play Jeremy though. Jeremy would be the one. Yeah, nothing else though.
All right, I'm looking at the college football playoff and stuff. Alabama being the number 4 team. I mean, do people forget they lost to Florida State? Come on now.
How dare them in week 1 lose to somebody in week 1?
Well, the best part, the same SEC fans are trying to penalize Notre Dame for losing to Miami, right? It's like with a freshman quarterback. So
you can't penalize Notre Dame.
Yeah, I'm being slightly facetious with that. Yeah, these teams, you can't judge them off 1 week, especially a first start for a quarterback.
The good thing is Notre Dame doesn't ever have to play anyone else, so they can still just get in.
That's such a garbage SEC bias take. I'm sorry.
Notre Dame plays a tough schedule?
They play an incredibly tough schedule. What are you talking about? They play
so many cupcakes. They play Navy and Army and Air Force and all the military things. I mean,
the Citadel was on Ole Miss's schedule last week. There's another cupcake. Notre Dame's had the best schedule in college football this year. All right, Miami, A&M, Purdue, Arkansas, Boise State, NC State, USC, Boston College, Navy, Pitt,
Boston College and Navy and Army and Air Force. And
it started out strong though.
Yeah, kind of fizzled out there after the top 2.
He was saying it with conviction too the whole way.
The more I went on, I was like, I should shut up. USC taking on Iowa. The Iowa game played out about as bad as we saw it last week. Oregon, again, the Big Ten gauntlet's like that. Needed a last second field goal to beat Iowa. Maiva and King Miller, Makai Lemon, 7,200. These guys are priced up though against a tough Iowa defense. The weather, though, it's going to be much nicer than it was in Iowa this past week. That's for sure. Southern Cal in the middle of November. I mean, Iowa's got to be loving life at this point, right where they want to be in life, right around the bowl eligible mark, right? They're ranked 21. Everyone's fat and happy, 6-3. Just not a whole lot to like though on the Iowa side of the ball. Maybe you can talk me in on some Moulton. This is the week that Big T just surprises me and says he's going to be like full shove Moulton. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but you love going against USC. But Bruce, start us off.
Man, you kind kind of mentioned the guy that I like the most. Maybe not on the slate, but man, Kamari Moulton
Ooh.
is in a smash spot here. We saw Komalafe last week at USC go for 118 and a touchdown. And I think Moulton's just so much better. I mentioned Arkansas and LSU as the biggest mismatch, offensive and defensive line, but this game, Iowa's offensive line is just blocking so well, and USC's defensive line has been terrible this year. So this is a good spot. Dude's going to be around 10% owned, and I think it's a really good spot. The only problem is, if they fall behind a little bit, he's not the best pass catcher, but he can. Has 2 targets per game, so a little sketchy there. But I think it's such a great spot for him, especially early on in the game when the game's close. I think if I'm not playing him, I don't mind Gronowski either at 6,300. Dude's going to run it 10 times per game. And he's a tough runner against a bad defense. We've always said USC's defense is really, really terrible, and this is a good spot for him. Maeva and Lemon are always in play here. Even Lane, Lemon just smashes every week. 15 targets last week, and looked really good. So they're in play. Never want to play an Iowa receiver. Don't do it. But I think it's a good sneaky spot for the Iowa running back for sure.
That just made me complete my parlay, 5 legs, 141 to 1. I'm for sure putting Moulton into it now. And Big T, you were nodding your head, yeah, like you were Miley Cyrus and the party in the USA. You got to be loving Moulton too.
I just keep playing guys against USC, and USC's offense is awesome, but I love the spot. And on a week like this where you don't really know who to play at receiver, I love playing Lemon with Moulton and just kind of a little mini stack here where you got the best player from both teams. You got the best matchup both ways. I think people are scared to play studs against Iowa, which I don't love, but it's at USC. That does help a little bit. And Lemon is just a different beast. He's just a monster. So you're going to have to spend somewhere. He's only 7,200. I actually really like the idea of just playing those two. You got a late hammer too on top of it. Everything. So yeah, I totally agree. And I was going to bring it up. I'm even happier now that Bruce likes it. So that was one of my few notes from the show that I was going to play him. So there's kind of our show play, but it's yet another running backs. The only problem, there's just so many running backs on this slate. It's literally, I mean, how many are great running back? There's like 12 great running back plays.
There's definitely a lot. And just for those wondering, Lemon, he led the slate. If you were to just look at this slate, he had 15 targets last week. The next closest on this slate was Chris Hudson with 9. So you're getting the volume with Mekhi Lemon that has, 2 weeks ago it was only 4, but you can have some major upside games with him to run it back with Moulton. That's a really nice mini stack. I'm glad that this game, usually Iowa games fall flat. The fact that you two are kind of on it, yeah, it makes me happy. I like the Moulton prop too. It's like 80 yards or something like that. If you go to 100, another alt line, boost that parlay up big time, man. I'm actually kind of in love with this parlay. I'm going to say it's going to hit, but 140 to 1-1, it feels very more probable than that. Plays of the day, man, so many options here. It's going to be a lot of running backs, I assume. I'm going to go ahead and just cut the line on the wide receiver. I'm going to go a wide receiver for sure, but just to try and give people a little bit something different. But like you said, a rarity on this show. Big T potentially going away from his double quarterback, though. That never happens. Hell will freeze over before that happens. Well, someone check the thermometer down there. It might be broken. Bruce, you got your play of the day ready?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Moulton.
Was that an interception?
Go right back to him. There's just so many good running back plays. I could have gone with any of them. I mean, Singleton, Allen, all those guys are in good spots. But I'm going to go with Moulton here.
I like it. Big T, I feel like you had your eye on Moulton too. I really do feel like you were getting ready to say it. And Bruce, first to the plate there. He's safe at the base. Big T, I see your eyes darting around the screen right now. Who's your play of the day?
No, I wasn't going to give Moulton, but I do like him. It's just because I have my eye on a guy that's a 10%, under 10% running back that I talked about early in the show. But so you got Moulton. Moulton's for sure going to be right around 10% or lower. I'm going to give a second running back. So there's all these running backs on the slate. We're going to give two running backs that are both in the 6Ks and both under 10% owned. But Mike Washington Jr. against LSU, I love him. Last week, 4 catches for 19 yards, 19 carries, $116. I love his volume all year. He's been getting carries anywhere from 15 to like 19. Pass game work. I just love the spot for him against LSU. And I'll even give an extra one because I like giving 2 plays. And in the same game, Xavier Thomas at 4,100. So a nice little mini stack, kind of like the one we just talked about. And you could play Bruce's Moulton with Lemon. You can play Xavier Thomas with Mike Washington. You got 2 nice little mini stacks there that kind of check out the page. But for me, Washington and Xavier.
I'm glad I had Arkansas pulled up. I knew you were going Washington. It was one of those sneaky takes you made earlier. I'm kind of frustrated that you ran it back with Xavier Thomas in your own because my play of the day was also in this game, and it was a wide receiver, but it wasn't Xavier. It was trade as Green.
You can't play a dude that didn't – you can't play the day can't be a dude that didn't even catch a pass last week.
Well, yeah, you can when he catches 2 in the end zone tomorrow, goes off for 100 yards.
I do like him. I do like him.
9 for 110 and 2. That's the stat line for trade.
What we're doing with people, though, now we gave 2 receivers from that team, and they don't have a quarterback.
Well, I mean, just play Green over Thomas, right? Thomas was your second. That did frustrate me because I was so happy. I was like, you get to run it back with some trade as Green. I'm going off the wall. A guy got 0 last week. This is the ultimate flop flag, baby. This is the ultimate flop flag, Big T. I mean, like you guys said, Washington's an amazing play. Moulton's an amazing play. You got so many great running backs. Again, for those wondering, for those who aren't members, make sure you're a member. Big T will have his score posted. You get to finally see if hell is going to freeze over. I have a good feeling that it might be a little bit cold down there, Big T, because I keep looking at these builds, right? I was just, building on my phone. There's some really good 4 running back lineups out there, and you don't need to.
And quarterbacks, seriously, pull the quarterbacks up. There just isn't quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff Sims at 7,400, and even if you wanted to kind of get a little bit cute, if you wanted to go away from him, it's not like you're getting head of the field or anything. 8,800 for Sorsby, as much as I like, if you get 9K for Taylor Green, it's not like they're inexpensive, right? It's not like they're cheap. Bruce, you were alluding to it earlier. You had a couple cheap options for those who wanted to go down, like CJ Carr 7,200, but then you also
Gronk, big Gronk is one of the best plays. That's how bad quarterback is. Freaking Gronk is one of the better ones.
And someone mentioned the weather, AJ over here. It's going to rain all day. That's perfect for the run game. I love that even more.
I cannot believe it's supposed to rain in LA the entire week.
Yeah,
they run so bad down there in LA and Southern Cal. Oh, I feel so bad for them. All right, that's your sign to get off the show. Have a great rest of y'all's day. For Big T, for Bruce, and we hope you all have a great rest of y'all's day and have a good, successful DFS slate. Have a good one, and bye-bye.